My name is Jackson. I am a DJ and staff member here at WXOX. Want to say thanks to everyone. Thanks again to our sponsors today, Pacifica Network, SCMS Broadcast Equipment Solutions, Spinitron, Broadcast Tool and Die, and Mad Pixel Art and Design. We want to shout out to Lady Jam, DJ Mythos, Kate, and James Inge. You guys are keeping this whole thing going, and it's been fantastic. So thank you all for being here. This next session is very special. We have with us Sharon Scott, who is the co-founder and general manager of Art FM here in Louisville. I like to say that Sharon invented Art FM is what I tell people usually. Sharon launched her radio career at WRVU Nashville, the voice of Vanderbilt University, where she served as DJ, local music director, and general manager. As an alumni, she established WRVU Friends and Family, the nonprofit support network that led the legal battle to save 91.1 FM from public radio takeover. The organization now operates WXNA Nashville on 101.5 FM. Sharon has, her radio advocacy has been covered by the Chronicle of Higher Education and the New York Times. She's been in books and all kinds of stuff. A lot of you know Sharon and her are familiar with her radio career. So I won't say too much more because we want to know what Sharon has to say. Basically, we kind of all went through this process that Sharon is about to detail to get XOX going remotely. So she pretty much made it all happen, and let's do it.
Great, thank you, Jackson. Thank you, everybody that's here at the conference and in the session today. Great to see you all. I'm still getting used to this whole Zoom world, as many of us are, so please forgive me if I'm a little bit awkward. I hope to have you all here in person soon and we can just kick back and enjoy each other's company. But for now, here we are, and great to see you in this weird digital way. Am I having lots of echo issues? Anybody? Okay. I'm in the Art FM. Actually, the DJs will recognize where I am right away, and I'm sure they're all wishing they could be here with me right now. Let me just show you our amazing disco ball. There it is. You guys, it's still cranking. There we go. So I'm actually at the Art FM studio now. I'm in we call it kind of the Blue Room. We're still working on a name for it, but this is our live performance space. We've had lots of amazing things happen in this room. Unfortunately, right now, it's pretty quiet around here, and this poor disco ball is just churning away all by itself. But we're excited to get back in here one day, and we're taking advantage of the downtime while nobody's in studio to renovate here at Art FM. And we've got new carpet, we've got new walls. Our resident carpenter slash engineer, Sean, is building us brand new tables. So when the DJs come back, you guys, it's gonna be so fantastic. It's gonna be a brand new world. But it's really quiet and sad down here without you all right now. But anyway, so here we are. We're at the very quiet Art FM studio. We're located in downtown Louisville, Kentucky. We're about, I would say, about 5 blocks away from Breonna Taylor Square here in Louisville, the heart of the protests and the action. In fact, I happen to have a New York Times. This is Breonna Taylor Square downtown, and I have it because the painting in the middle of Breonna Taylor was painted by one of our DJs. Aaron Conaway. So we were excited to see that on the front page of the New York Times. So it's a beautiful piece, and it's, it's really become iconic of the movement. We have so many talented DJs here, and we're called Art FM, so we embrace art, and we have a lot of great art in our studio. Behind me, you'll see a piece from Chris Chappell. And we have a beautiful mural on the outside of our building by Wilfred Sieg, if you've seen that on our website. So this place is really a place of art and creativity and excitement and community. And right now, all of that is just completely silenced down here. But the sounds are coming out of Art FM still as lively as ever, as passionate as ever, maybe even more so. Only it's not coming from here in the studio. It's coming from various studios all across the city of Louisville, Kentucky, home studios in people's dining rooms, in people's bedrooms, in people's kitchens, in people's basements. And it's pretty exciting. We have, I would say, over 100 remote studios in town right now, each DJ having their own personal studio at home. And what is important about this is that it's not that they're making audio pieces and then sending them in and we're uploading them and putting them on a computer and playing them later. Everything going out over the airwaves on Art FM right now is completely live, even though none of us are in studio. So that was one of the motivations, honestly, for having this for going ahead and pushing forward with this conference. We realized there were so many things we needed to share with one another right now during this hard time, and this is definitely one of them. This tool for remote broadcasting is something I've really wanted to share with as many stations as possible, because we found it's very inexpensive, costs about $10 a month, and particularly easy for folks to pick up at home. We have DJs of all technological abilities that are doing this. We have a few curmudgeons who didn't want to do it. They said, oh, I can't do computers and this and that and other thing, and we finally pushed them through and we got them to do it. We have DJs that speak other languages that learned how to do it. We have DJs with mental differences that have learned how to do it, and we have kids that have learned how to do it. So this is really a very simple, easy way for you to get your DJs live broadcasting from home without very much work on the station's side. It's a pretty simple concept, and I will kind of walk you through the steps. Let me go over here. Before I do that, I did want to give my passionate speech about how important it is to me that we do stay on air at this time, and why we've worked so hard to find a way to do this, because radio is so immediate and it's so permeable through the entire community, and it's such a source of great information, knowledge, community sharing, and radio is so important, I think, for people's mentality, just for them to be able to tune into our station and hear us still on the air, and it's not a computer voice, it's not a rerun, it's real people connecting with real people in real time, and that has always been extremely important here at Art FM. So when the pandemic started spreading across the world, we started seeing it coming in our direction. We knew we had people with health issues that didn't want to risk coming into the station, and so we started to develop work on different ways to get our DJs remote broadcasting from home. And we tried a few different things and finally landed on this method, and we're super pleased with it. Like I said, it's been fairly easy to do. So I would definitely encourage you. We started going remote before the Breonna Taylor case became, as big as it is right now, before the details came out about how terrible the whole thing was. And literally, I think that the moment Louisville really got upset and active about what had happened to her was when the 911 call came out from her boyfriend, Kenny Walker. And that was just so powerful, emotional. You could tell that he had no idea what had just happened to them. And I really feel that it was the hearing of that audio that drew people. People just started pouring into the streets. And so now it's over 100 days, 120, maybe 130 days of continuous protesting here in Louisville, Kentucky right now. Like I said, just a few blocks from where we are now. In fact, I can see the church that's been providing sanctuary to the protesters at night. We're very close to the action. Well, the studio is. Our DJs are in various locations. Some of them right in the middle of the action, and once they've gotten to be remote broadcasting, they'd be broadcasting from home. We have one DJ Kara, and she was live broadcasting from home on her back porch, and the police and the protesters got into a situation while she was on air. So she would be doing her talk breaks, and you would hear the helicopters, and you would hear the flashbangs, and you would hear the people shouting, and it was really powerful. So once the protests started happening here, we realized how important it was that we were still live broadcasting, and that we were still able to respond to what was going on in our community in live time and let people know what's going on right at this very moment. Of course, on top of that, you have the pandemic, which the news is always changing. And we felt it was very important, again, for us to be live on air during this pandemic, giving people the tools they needed to stay healthy. So we luckily started doing this we started working on this before COVID really broke out here in Louisville, Kentucky. So we were able to slowly get some of our DJs broadcasting from home, the other DJs broadcasting in the studio, and we were able to stagger our schedule a little bit. So we'd have one DJ in studio, the next DJ broadcasting at home, a DJ in studio, another at home. And so we worked like that for a while, doing all the cleansing principles and all this kind of thing. And literally, you know, I wasn't sleeping at night as a station manager, knowing that people's lives might be taken away from them because they came to the radio station and picked up something was really a stress for me that I couldn't bear much longer. We tried as long as we could to keep the station open. The outbreak continued to grow worse. Things started getting shut down. And luckily, by the time we felt we really needed to close the doors on the station, we had almost all of our DJs remote broadcasting from home. That's about 100, we have about 120 regular DJs, and I'd say we got about 95% of them broadcasting from home. The ones that haven't just kind of didn't want to, or they didn't feel they had the space or opportunity to do it. But we are working again with a full schedule of live DJs from about 7 or 8 a.m. until about 2 a.m. every night. So we do switched automation mix in the wee hours, always working to change that. But so this method that I'm going to teach you, again, it's very simple. So some of you might be going, yeah, of course, that's like a really simple thing to do. But sometimes, it just takes somebody showing you and saying, okay, do this, and you can. So I would really encourage you to do this, try it out, see if it works. Please contact me if you have any questions, or, I can definitely help walk you through it. But let me find I've made a handy website actually that you guys can share and use. Maybe Jackson or James could post the site. It's artxfm.com/remote stations. And you guys, I can share my screen, I think, right? Let me try that out. Yes. So I'm gonna share my screen so you can see it. Okay. Are you guys seeing that now? Spaceman from 2001. Okay, so on this page, I've done this session before for the Pacifica Network stations. So if you wanted to either, watch, there's a video there, you can watch it if you want. You can see how I did it better today or then. And this just gives you a basic overview of how we do it. So basically what you're gonna do is something you've probably already done. If your station is streaming and online, someone at your station has been through the process of setting up a stream for your station. And that's where we're gonna start. What we're gonna do is set up a secondary stream for your station. You have your main stream, you're broadcasting on the FM dial. You're also broadcasting, most of you, online. And hold on, I just saw a DJ walk past the window. Sorry, it was distracting. Okay, so you're already broadcasting FM, you're broadcasting online, and what you're gonna do is set up a third stream, or a second stream, actually. You're never gonna mess with the FM broadcast, you're never gonna mess with your stream that your listeners connect to. This will be a third kind of private stream, which here we call it the DJ stream. And only the DJs have access to this stream. Unless they tell someone else about it. But otherwise, it's just a secret stream. You never have to tell your listeners about it. You have to know what the stream is, of course, on your end at the station, because you'll be picking that up in the station and playing it out through your soundboard, just like any other audio source. If you stream Democracy Now! Or something like that, they produce a stream, you go there, get the stream, tell your computer in studio to play it, to send it out to your FM dial, and send it out to your primary stream. And so that's exactly what we're going to be doing here. We're just going to generate a secondary stream that your station computer will go pick up when it's time for your live remote DJ to go on air. And it's a cool thing because, it's really helping us now during the pandemic. We're hoping, we'll get through this and then emerge with it with some great skills to where DJs can go out and live broadcast anywhere in the world once they get traveling again. And we've had some DJs, Emily, who you've been seeing announcing earlier, and her co-host Ami with Be Here. They've been going down to Breonna Taylor Square weekly, every other week, something like that, and getting interviews with people that are down there and live broadcasting just live broadcasting from here. So it's where it's at, it's where it's happening. You know, it's so much better than you know, just playing some pre-recorded show that you brought in from somewhere else, you know. So I would highly encourage everyone to do this. Okay, so what you do, and the steps are very simple. Hold on, let me see if I can work my computer. Okay, so again, your primary stream at your station, you're not going to mess with that at all. Just don't even think about that, but I do like to address that because sometimes people wonder, well, what happens to your primary stream? Your primary stream is just going to continue doing its thing. So you're going to create the secondary DJ stream. I went with Abovecast. I don't have any, you know, connection with any of these organizations, but I found that Abovecast was inexpensive. It was $10 a month to get another stream host. That's what you need to do, is set up another stream host. And it was about $10 a month. And I would recommend going for the highest bit rate and the lowest number of listeners. So 128 kilobytes per second is about the highest bit rate you can go with right now. And the lowest number of listeners with via streaming, I mean, with Abovecast was actually 1,000 listeners. So we really only need one listener. We only need the station computer that's going to pick up the stream. But now we have this alternative source. If we have a huge event and we need overflow, we can use that as well. Okay, so as station managers, or talk to your engineer, whoever, tell them we need a secondary stream. We need to go to a stream hosting service and sign up and pay for their stream. Once you go to the stream hosting service, you log in, sign up, pay your $10 a month, and then they will send you login codes for your stream. And those are the codes that you will be sharing now with your DJs. Now, you probably wouldn't want to share these codes to your main stream with anyone. Like, we keep ours very silent. You don't want someone to hijack your main stream. But this is a secondary stream. So if something goes really wacky and weird, you, as the station directors, can pull it off air at any point and make it stop. In fact, I had to do that a couple weeks ago. And you can also always change the password on this DJ stream if, you know, if someone goes rogue, which happens, unfortunately. So you're gonna contact Abovecast or whoever, say, I need a stream hosting service. They're gonna send you the codes to access that with, and then you're gonna share those codes with your DJs. And this will be the information that they need. I don't actually have Audio Hijack here. Jackson, you have Audio Hijack, don't you? Could you pull it up and show your screen of the setup page where you enter the codes? I'm borrowing my son's computer. He has it on his other computer.
Do you mean the code where we put in like the stream information with the password and stuff?
Do you remember what that is? So that'll take 1 second. I'm sure to pull that up. I just want to make sure everybody knows what I'm talking about when I talk about the stream codes. Okay, so here's Jackson's, he uses Audio Hijack. I'll go through a few different kinds of software that could be helpful. Your DJs on their end will need to get a piece of software that they can connect to the stream with. Our Mac users use Audio Hijack, and our PC users go with Rocket Broadcaster, or the other one is called Broadcast using this tool. The short name for that is but Audio Hijack is a fabulous program. Jackson's got it set up here. And what you would do is you would say, tell the program, once you get the program, you'll understand, but, and you go to the setup page of the program. Jackson, if you click on that broadcast box, and then, and just double click on that, it should open up. I can't see it too well. Is it not opening?
Can you see my blocks?
Yeah. That one? Can you click on that one?
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, and it's not show. Oh, I see.
Maybe it's a different window or something. Let me see what I can do.
Okay. So he's going to click that broadcast box. It's opening another window where you enter the settings. Okay, here we go. Great. And so these are the settings. Now you guys have all our secrets. Oh, except the password. That's good. But this is the address for our secondary stream, the port, the user information. This is all the information that above, I'm just going to say Abovecast for now. This is all the information that Abovecast sent to us. And that's basically it. You pay your $10, they send you these codes, and then you don't have to deal with them again as long as you're paying your bills. And you get these codes and you enter them into your broadcasting software like this. So that's Audio Hijack. And after you close that window, then you save, make sure you save it, then you don't really have to ever mess with it again once you get that all in there. So that's really the hardest part that your DJs are gonna have to do. After they do that, they're just gonna control their computers as they would normally. If they use iTunes, they would just play iTunes like they would normally. If they use, DJ or whatever, they would just DJ as they would through their regular program. And then they're good to go. So this is really, the setup is the only thing they really ever have to mess with. And the first time they get that set up, then they don't have to deal with that again. Cool, Jackson, I think we're good with that. James, what do you use? Which software program do you use?
I use Rocket Broadcaster on a PC.
Are you at the computer where you could pull that up and show?
I am, yeah, I can share that.
Cool.
I opened it up just in case you wanted me to do that.
All right. Great. So this is Rocket Broadcaster.
Oh, sorry.
The advantage of PCs is that the Rocket Broadcaster and Butt are both free programs. Audio Hijack costs about $60. So we've been recording that for a few of our DJs when they need help. Okay, so this is Rocket Broadcaster. And let's see, where do you,
yeah, I'll show the streams there. So that's the same information as Jackson showed in the software he was using.
Great. Cool.
And then you just hit start broadcast and you're broadcasting.
Right. So that's it. That's literally all the DJs have to learn. Otherwise, they're just using their internal mics, their internal programs. Some DJs plug in soundboards and external soundboards and have like really immense setups. And some DJs are simply using their computer with a microphone or even their internal computer microphone sometimes. So hold on, let me pull up my, my document here again. And I will share my screen again. Sorry, I know it's kind of awkward. Are you guys still there? Because I think I just zoomed out.
We're still here.
Okay, good. You disappeared somehow. Okay, thank you. All right, here we go. Now I can share my screen. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so you've set up your secondary stream. You've got your codes from Abovecast or whoever. You've input those codes into the software. Again, either Audio Hijack, Rocket Broadcaster, or Butt are the ones we recommend. And then the DJ, once they enter those codes, it's really just a matter of, like James said, you push start on the remote broadcast, and that starts them broadcasting out to the world. It connects them to your DJ stream. Now, that's actually just going to a stream in the cloud that nobody knows about. So what you have to do then, let's skip, we talked about a lot. Okay, what you have to do then as the station manager, the station engineer, is pick up that stream in your radio station on your station's computer and tell it to play. We're able to do this automatically through Megaseg. There's a number of programs that you guys might use at your stations, but you just direct the station computer to go pick up that stream when it's live, and then it just comes in through your soundboard and goes out to your FM dial and goes out to your stream. So I have a manual also set up for the DJs. Let's see, remote. Let me see where I can find it so I can kind of show you. Okay, this is a manual I created for the Art FM DJs. And it's also something you guys are welcome to use as a model. That's artxfm.com/remote manual. And you're welcome. It's again going to be a little specific to our station, but I think you can apply it to yours. So I've set up this is the stream here. We actually have a DJ broadcasting on there right now, DJ Claudetta. You hear it? Is it loud? So he's safe in the comfort of his home, maybe eavesdropping on the conversations on his neighbors below. But he can do whatever he wants. He can do that at his home. He can take it out on the road. In fact, a DJ was asking, she has a long drive, and she was asking if she could do a hotspot from her phone and broadcast. And the answer is yes, actually, wherever you can get an internet connection to generate the stream, you can be broadcasting from there. So this is some of the equipment that the DJs might need. They're gonna obviously need a computer and an internet connection. That is the very basic bottom line. I also consider headphones a requirement because a lot of times without the headphones, we get feedback in weird situations. So I definitely make our DJs make sure they're wearing headphones. The internet connection, as you guys know, best to plug in via Ethernet. Our biggest problem is folks with Wi-Fi issues. So if you can get them hardlined in, plug in the computer to the modem, that's going to give you a much more reliable signal. Beyond that, they might want to add an external microphone, a USB microphone to their computer. They could also add a mixing board, but make sure it's a USB mixing board. It has to have that USB out coming into the computer in order for it to get up into the cloud. So at least that's our experience. You might have a workaround. There's a lot of smart engineers around here, but we've found that you have to have a USB mixing board. And then from the USB mixing board, you can plug in record players, CD players, cassettes, live instruments, what have you. One of our board members, Matthias, who you might have seen yesterday, doing some announcing, he performs at midnight live every Wednesday night on his guitar. He plugs in his guitar and gives us a live performance. And that's really neat, especially now that we can't go out and see live music, you know, that it's happening on our station Wednesday at midnight. So those are the kinds of, you know, that's the main things they're gonna need. Then they're also gonna need the software. They're gonna need to get one of those pieces of software I mentioned. And then they get started. They download the software. They contact the station management to get the stream access codes. Once they get that information, they enter it in the software as you saw demonstrated. And then they test their stream. But we have to be very careful that they don't test their stream when another DJ is on air, because we have found that it is possible for one DJ to kick another DJ off air. Doesn't always happen, but it can. So we set up a schedule. Basically, we had a Google Doc of a schedule, and we had areas darkened off where live DJs were on air and we couldn't test, and then people would sign up for spaces to test. And we told them, make sure you don't test outside of your stream time. And we would always give the DJs about an hour to test their stream, and some of them would do it like in 3 minutes. I think John Whitney and Emily, John Whitney and Emily both, like, I mean, under 60 seconds, they were on it and everything was working great. Some of our other DJs, it's been like an ongoing process, troubleshooting and whatnot. So that's the part that can take a while. But for the most part, we were able to get everybody trained and ready to go in about an hour's time. Each one of them an hour's time. So that, you know, it's fairly time consuming on the front end of things. But once it gets going, then, you know, then it's totally worth all of it. Okay, so let's see. So basically what they're gonna do is they're gonna get everything on their end set up, they're gonna enter the codes, they're gonna push start broadcast, and you're gonna be listening to the DJ stream before it's going through your station computer or anything. You're the only one listening, and you're listening for, you know, loud humming sounds, weird feedback, you know, all those, you're gonna go through all that troubleshooting stuff. And again, usually getting the person to wear headphones or plug in with an Ethernet cable, those two things have solved most of all of our problems. And then when it's showtime, right now all of our DJs are remote. So they're having to basically communicate with one another. When one DJ stops, they text the incoming DJ and say, okay, so I stopped, it's your turn to start. So, so that's how we're working the system. And it's, you know, it's basically like handing it off each time. In Megaseg, so we have Megaseg programmed to pick up the stream and play the stream. And it will, if one DJ disconnects from the stream, it will try to reconnect for about 4 or 5 minutes. And if the transition is able to happen within that 4 or 5 minutes, one DJ stops and then the other DJ starts, then the megaseg will just rebuffer and continue and pick up the new stream when it comes in. If the DJ delays for, over 5 minutes, if there's some kind of weird technical issue, then megaseg, the way we have it set, again, there's probably someone who might be able to help us, but the way it is on our station, if it's more than 5 minutes, it will stop trying to connect to that stream and it will revert to our sort of overnight mix, which is terrible because then no other DJs can get back on for the rest of the day unless someone at station management logs in and tells megaseg to play the stream again. So that's really a pain, and it's, it's not that big of a deal, but you station folks know, just every time you have to log into the computer, it's like, it's work, and it's taking time out of your day. So we've really worked hard to make sure that the DJs make that transition within 5 minutes. If one DJ, the incoming DJ, is having trouble connecting for some reason, there's something wrong with their settings or their internet, then we ask that the DJ that had just been on air go back on air again until that person is able to work out their issues. And then they kind of go back and forth like that just to, make sure that the stream doesn't drop completely from the station computer. So I have some tips in here, that some of this refers to when we had DJs in live studio and we're switching back and forth. So here's some kind of tips, wear your headphones always. Plug in via Ethernet if it's skipping and unstable. Something that happens at our station all the time is when our stream starts skipping, we just have to unplug and restart the modem and router, that kind of, ordeal. And that's important for your DJs might have to do that from time to time at their own houses. It's funny because it used to be we just had one station to troubleshoot, and now we have about 120 different technical situations that we're having to work with now, but it's an exciting adventure. Let's see, only one DJ can be connected to the stream at a time. So if one DJ can't get on and you've double checked all the codes, I like to have them take a screenshot of the codes once they've entered them before they even try the first time, just to make sure those are all correct. And you don't have to go through the frustration of dealing with resetting all the codes. So I just like to look at those before they even try, look everything over, make sure it's okay. If their streams are all correct and they can't connect, then somebody else might still be on the stream. So you need to find out who was the last person on the stream, make sure they get off. Also, if you connect through your software at too high a bit rate, like our stream host goes to 128 kilobytes per second. If someone tries to connect at a higher bit rate than that, it can crash our server on our DJ stream. So then you have to log into the server and restart it. So you need to really impress upon your DJs how important it is not to go over that set bit rate. And we found, just kind of basic starting over. If just everything else fails and you can't figure out why the thing isn't working, just delete the software and reinstall it and start over and see if that works. And it does lots of times. Again, I'm here. I'd be happy to answer any other questions you guys have about this. You can listen to, this is our stream too, our DJ stream, if you want to sneak on and see what we're doing behind the scenes. Clean Feed we've talked about before. So you can, with these broadcasting softwares, you can do interviews through Clean Feed or Zoom or whatever it might be. You simply, through your broadcasting software, would either select Zoom or Clean Feed as your audio input, or in the case of the PC users, Rocket Broadcaster and Butt simply pick up all the audio on the computer. So they just, if they have Zoom running on their computer, that will come out through the stream. So this is my rudimentary drawing of what it all looks like if you have a mixer. So this is your USB mixer in the middle, and it's connected by a USB cable to your broadcast computer, and it's going out through your broadcast computer to the Ethernet. And from here, the mixer, you can plug in a microphone, you can plug in, your iPad, your phones, computers, whatever. You can plug in your turntables. You can, as many inputs as your mixer will take, you can broadcast. But it is important, we've found, that if you use a mixer, this computer has to be separate from the computer where you're playing the music. So that would just specifically be your broadcast computer. And over here, you would have another computer that's playing your music. So again, you guys probably have better solutions, but this is what we've figured out. And that works really well. And the DJs have been very excited. I mean, the studios are really cool. I'm gonna let you guys see a few. And then tonight we're having a silent disco beginning at 8 p.m. that Jackson's organized for us with some great Art FM DJs. And they'll be live broadcasting from their remote stations. So you'll have opportunity to check some of those out. And then this is just an example. I have no stock in any of this, but the Behringer Xenix is a very affordable mixer that some of our DJs have been using, like this Q502 USB, I think is around $100. It's not more. I don't think it might be less. But anyway, make sure, they also have a Q502 and that does not have the USB out. And we've had a few people order those and then they had to send them back. So again, just make sure, am I going to it? Here's my little plug for B&H that I'm not meaning to, sorry. Anyway, there it is. You can, okay. And then this Newmark is a nice one for people who have turntables because it actually includes the turntable preamps. So, and then again, here at the bottom, I just have links to the different software and I show you kind of where the codes that you get from Abovecast or wherever would be entered. And that's the Rocket Broadcaster like James just showed you. And then this is what it looks like on broadcast using this tool. And again, where it's purple is where you enter the codes. And then this is Audio Hijack. As Jackson was showing you, the box would normally just pop up in that screen. Watch your mic with Audio Hijack, that mic goes on automatically. So, you know, that can be problematic if you don't realize. So I did find that when I was setting this up in order to get a stream to play directly when you open it, let's see. What your automation software in your station computer will need is a direct stream that it can go to and it opens automatically. So for like, in this case, the stream is not opening automatically. What I would need, actually I know, it's, I'm just gonna try to show you what that. No, I don't know if I remember. I don't remember the exact address. But you're gonna need to get an address from Abovecast, which is gonna be a direct link. When you go to this link, it will open up and start playing automatically. That you don't need to push any kind of player or anything like that. But because I didn't get that automatically with Abovecast, and I was a little bit trying to figure out how to do that. But so just when you set up your stream, make sure you contact them and say, what is the direct URL for this stream? And that direct URL is what you're gonna tell your station to play. So just to recap, basically your DJs are creating a stream at their house. They are broadcasting up to the web and it's up there in the web, and your station computer just has to go to that spot and play it and then put it out through your soundboard and through your FM dial and through your primary stream. So that's how it all works. And again, it's very easy. Just got to pay for that $10 a month. And then you've got your codes, you give those to the DJs and then get them through a little bit of a training process. And all of a sudden you can have all your DJs broadcasting live from home. So hopefully that made some sense. Jackson and James, if you guys could show off, show us your studios. Jackson, you got a picture or something? I think you can share
I'm
here.
at my studio right now.
It's been really cool to see how each of the DJs has just a totally different take on the situation. And it's been really fun to see their personalities come out through their studios and to hear the different background noises in each of their locations. Like some people have dogs, other people have kids, other people live in the city where you're, hearing the city sounds. So it's kind of neat. I think it's kind of interesting, and it's brought, a lot of unique character to our broadcast. And then James has his turntables and whatnot set up on his dining room table.
I I host a show with a friend of mine called That Driving Beat, where we play old '60s soul and rhythm and blues 45s. So we decided that, once we had to go remote, we didn't want to switch to digital, because the whole point of our show is playing and talking about and really featuring these old records. So we had to figure out a way to try to duplicate the studio experience as much as possible. So I'm going to share my screen here. Got a few photos. This is my dining room, set up as a studio for me and my co-host. We decided early on that we would extend our COVID circle just a little bit to include each other, and we're very careful. Otherwise, we don't really see anybody. But so this is the studio in my dining room. As you can see, we've got our turntables and our DJ mixer. We are also mobile DJs, or before COVID struck, we DJ'd in bars and parties and stuff. So we already had the turntables and the DJ and the DJ mixer there over to the left. This is our little soundboard that we got. So we've got our DJ mixer run into there. We've got 2 microphones run into there. We've got our headphones coming out, and we've got a USB which goes to. Sorry, we've got RCA's. This actually is not a USB mixer, but we did find a workaround. I had this little. This cheap little dongle here. These are about $25 on Amazon. I had it for ripping records from my stereo to my computer. So it converts RCA's to a USB to be able to go into the laptop. And then I've got Rocket Broadcaster on my laptop there. So basically we have all of our inputs, microphones, the DJ mixer. We've got a little tablet there for we do use digital music for bed music to talk over during our breaks. All of that is going through that Behringer soundboard there and coming into the computer through USB. So as Sharon said, the only thing that's happening in the computer is it is a stream. If we tried to use a microphone on the computer or tried to play any music off of that computer, you end up with weird delays and echoes and strange things happening. So if you're not going to be talking directly into your computer and playing music directly off the streaming computer, if you are going to be going through a soundboard and with all these other equipment like that, you can't really use that streaming computer for anything other than streaming, as Sharon was saying.
Cool, that's awesome. Nice of Kate to lend her dining room table.
Yeah. Our dining room has been a recording or a radio broadcast studio since March, and it's not like we're having people over anyway, but looks like it's going to continue being that way.
Well, let's see a couple more studios. I know we have a few more DJs, Tia and Blythe. I know you guys are both there. Let's see what you guys are working with behind the scenes.
Hey, everybody. So my setup is it's much simpler. I actually broadcast from a laptop. I use a laptop to broadcast my broadcast computer. And I do not use a mixer. So I use that computer to play my music, and I stream through Spotify. And then as my mic, I have a Beatcaster, and that's like the mic and the control center all built in one. You can see here how it's set up. It's got the boom arm and everything. And then I have Behringer headphones that I use to hear with, and that's it. So I just log on to Rocket Blaster and go on air, and I turn my Spotify on because I have my music beds there, and my mic is set up. It's plugged in by USB to my laptop, and I'm broadcasting.
Awesome. I know, it sounds great. Your mic sounds great too, Tia. What kind of mic is that?
I'm really not sure, but like I said, it's called it's a Beatcaster. The whole system is called Beatcaster. If y'all can see this,
Okay.
Right? That's how it looks.
It's cool looking, yeah, and it sounds really good.
Thanks. And it comes with the little cover, right? So you know that it's it helps me with my P's, even though my P's are still hard. Just I guess it's the hood in me. But you can also hit mute, and when you don't feel like talking, you can adjust your mic gain and whether you want it to record in mono, a stereo, or wide stereo. So it's a good mic. I really like it.
So you just got the mic plugged into the computer and then away you go.
Yes, via USB. That's how it powers it too.
And then Blythe has got a couple turntables. Blythe, are you still there? She's been teaching her baby how to DJ from home.
I'm here though, Ethan.
Oh, Ethan, hey, well, Ethan has been too. The thing came up, it said Blythe, I think, sorry.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the other half of this beautiful new baby we have at Art FM.
Here we are. Yeah, there's our little radio baby.
Yeah.
Oh.
My computer doesn't work with the sound for some reason. Or the microphone on my computer doesn't work. But go on.
Oh, all right. So our setup, we got 2 turntables and an old CD player running into this 5-channel analog mixer, which then runs into an old desktop computer that I've had for years. That's
it's just for broadcasting.
Just for broadcasting. Don't get that's the only thing that we use it for anymore. And it plugs. So the 5-channel mixer, the outputs on that runs to our home stereo that we use for the in-studio monitors, and then the main out we go directly into the back of the desktop, which it luckily has a stereo input, and then we use Butts as our broadcasting tool, which is broadcasting using this tool, which is free. Sean Selby turned us onto that, and Sharon, and that's been fantastic. Really, super simple. It very low load on the computer.
Yeah, and just to mention, because I saw the chat, people were asking about the 2 computers. And like, if we want to play like something off our computer or a digital file, we have to plug that device into the mixer, and that's why you would need the second computer.
Yeah.
Just if we want to play digital music, then we have to plug that computer or phone or whatever into the mixer, and then that's why you have the second computer.
So, but the 5-channel mixer, I think it's a Newmark. It's super. It's fairly inexpensive for a mixer. We've been using hers for years now. When we DJ live, when we do our vinyl nights out and about in Louisville. Also, I'm able to plug in multiple microphones into this mixer as well. Last week, I took my laptop set up with my tractor controller, my digital MIDI controller, and I was able to plug that in to the 5-channel mixer as well. So, I mean, it's a bit of a large, expansive Frankenstein setup.
But it works.
But it works for, Blythe has a ton of CDs, a ton of records as well as I do. We have an old 5-disc CD changer that we plug that into, so we're able to use that.
Tape deck.
Tape deck. We're able to plug our tape deck. So we've been able to use everything because of this fairly inexpensive mixer that we've already had, and of course it's all quite old, well worn in equipment, but it's worked so well. And we don't have Wi-Fi at our house, so we've been using our hotspots on our phones,
and it works.
And it's been working great to be able to do that. So in any case, using a hotspot on our phone, we should be able to at some point be able to broadcast anywhere. So right now we're visiting her father. It's just basically car space and time that we didn't bring some sort of mobile setup. But it took us a while to get on. and get back to broadcasting since COVID. But now that we're on, it's I mean, we missed the studio, but since we have a newborn baby, it's a lot easier to broadcast, from home. And I think she's taken the hint that we're up late on Thursday nights, and she usually takes a nap and then wakes up right around 10 o'clock to join us for kind of a family radio night.
Awesome. I love it so much. Next generation coming up.
It's been a blast, but it's taken us piecing together a lot of different equipment to get to get it together to be able to use the turntables, the CD player, the tape deck, the MIDI controllers, because we do like to pull from our large collection of music and share it with everybody.
Great. It's awesome. There's a great show. You guys tune in Thursdays starting at 10, going till win. It's a fantastic night of music.
Yeah.
These two met at RFM too. I always have to brag because this is our first little RFM baby. So we're super proud of y'all. It's like you're in a place right now too. It's awesome. Oh, she's so pretty.
Sharon, how about a couple questions?
Yeah.
Brian, are you down? You're on the line still. Can you show your studio? Brian Manley, are you out there? Any other DJs got studios they want to show off?
I just want to say real quick that my setup does allow for me to be extremely mobile too. So like literally if I'm out of town, I just need my laptop and my mic and my headphones. So that's something I think, you might want to consider too. Like I could literally go to Breonna Taylor Square with this setup and all I need is a table. Yeah. So
I know, it's so cool. It's amazing. And it's something we've always wanted our DJs to be able to do, but this pandemic has forced us to do the things we never had time and opportunity to do before. So, they're looking for the silver lining in all this badness, but it did force us to learn how to do this and teach all our DJs how to do this. And now, like Tia said, they're open to the world. They can broadcast from anywhere. And Brian is broadcasting from, I love the name.
My studio, the Kingdom of Blunder. Yeah, mine's pretty chaotic, but it's a lot like Ethan and Blythe's. I don't know if you can see it over here. I should get my stuff together for this next presentation thing.
Brian will be on the next panel, which is going to be extremely lively. Am I right, Radio Jim? It'll be called Riot for Radio. So you guys are definitely going to want to make sure you check that one out. Brian has been going out and recording a lot of the sounds happening here in the city of Louisville, which are, immense and powerful. In fact, I passed a protest just on my way down here today. So there's a lot of action on the streets and Brian is going out there recording those sounds. He brought some of those sounds into our broadcast for Breonna that we did. And then he just recently did another piece for Pacifica News about what's going on here in Louisville. But yeah, his remote studio is really cool looking, I think. So.
Well, my show's called Turmoil and it's pretty chaotic. I mean, I do have a board and one turntable, and then I actually run it all through this giant speaker system, home stereo deal with tapes and everything else. So it kind of sprawls through an entire office, and I have to use two computers because I do play digital tracks too, mix them with vinyl and cassettes. So it's a lot of times I'm doing gymnastics, kind of reaching real far to play all the different sources.
So again, it's really cool to see, have a peek into the studio's home world and to hear kind of what's going on in their world. We have one DJ, he lives in a nice area of town with lots of pedestrian traffic, and he broadcasts from his porch, once a week, and he gets the sounds of the people walking by. He'll maybe talk to the people, interview the people walking by. He has bands that will come play in his front yard, and he's able to broadcast all that. So it really opens up tons of possibilities. It's a fairly simple method to open up a lot of possibilities. And Radio Jim can take this method with him into the streets with his gas mask and bulletproof vest, and broadcast the sounds of the riots live. So, but really, it's once you get this set up in your computer, they just basically open their broadcasting software, push start broadcasting, and then they just go on and play their music as they normally would. So really just getting them set up is the only little bit of work you have to do. And then it's rolling from there. I mean, our DJs have been doing great. It was a little bit of a, like anything, a little bit of a, effort to get through the learning curve. But now that we have, it's running extremely smoothly. You all been doing great with your handovers. I haven't had to log in a while. So you guys are doing fantastic. And if there's any, questions or comments, I know we're about out of time, but I think we have a little time we can run over just a little bit before
Yeah.
for radio.
Yeah, Debbie had some questions. I'm gonna unmute Debbie if that's okay. Debbie, if I can find you. Oh no. First time tech person.
Well, one of the questions that she asked, which you actually answered, was could we store broadcast audio to be played later? And all of the software that we're using does that, allows for that. So that was one of her questions.
That's correct. I think she's offline actually.
Oh.
So let's go to Lori McArdle. If you're still here,
Hi,
you
Lori.
have a few questions.
Lori's with WERA in Arlington, Virginia. Super cool station, and she gave us a beautiful tour one time. Great to see you, Lori.
Just check in and make sure my mic is okay. I think all my questions were answered.
Okay.
I just Sean answered the question about the dump button, and then I guess one of the things that I've run into issues with is uploading files that I've recorded because I have a slow upload speed on my internet. Have you had any issues with that? Jackson, I know you had talked about it a little bit in the chat, but has there been any issues with people who have slow upload speeds using these broadcast tools when going live?
Yeah, that can be a problem. That's probably one of the biggest problems we have, actually. And it's actually become worse now that people are going back to school and doing a lot of online school. We've noticed, remarkably, internet traffic has been heavier. Usually if people are plugged in by Ethernet, that solves the problem. We're having people still have problems that are using Wi-Fi. But what we recommend if someone's glitching or having problems, make sure every other application on your computer is turned off, make sure nobody else in the house is using any kind of internet, and just try to shut everything down except for your broadcasting software and see if that works. But yeah, hotspots on your phone are a good alternative if you're able to do that. If your Wi-Fi at your house isn't working, try broadcasting off your phone. But I would say that's the number one problem is internet speeds and internet connectivity.
Veronica is asking, how easy is the switch back from the second stream to the main stream? Is it problematic to do so after each show if you have limited shows and need to go back to the mainstream frequently?
Okay, so as I mentioned in the beginning, the mainstream never changes. We're never touching the mainstream that the listeners are hearing. This is a secondary alternative stream. And so basically it's just a source that we're picking up in studio. And so that's actually fairly easy to navigate back and forth from pre-recorded show to live remote to live in studio. You're just telling your station computer what you want it to play. Do you want it to play the DJ stream? Do you want it to play, something that's already loaded in your computer, or do you want it, to go live in studio? So you actually never mess with your primary stream at all, and the switching back and forth between studio, recorded, and live is all fairly easy.
I
Just switching.
Totally. I can't find the question. Someone had asked about the transition between the shows, and we obviously that can be a problem when it is a problem. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, if you could maybe talk more about that.
If you guys were trying to listen to our live broadcast last night, we had a little bit of an issue where the DJ could not disconnect. Something came up and he was connected to the stream and he could not disconnect. So we then, because only one person can be on the stream at a time, then we could not connect for our live broadcast. And then we had to like go through this whole process. You can shut down the server and then that will disconnect the DJ. And then restart it and you can log in, but it's kind of a process. But usually the transition goes fairly smoothly, and the DJs, again, when they stop broadcast, they'll text the next DJ, say, I stopped broadcast, time for you to start, and then the next DJ starts like that. And again, if they're able to connect within 5 minutes, which is a pretty long time to push one button and start broadcasting, but you'll be amazed how many folks aren't able to do that for one reason or another. But now we've gotten a lot better at it, and the transitions have been fairly smooth. I see that Ursula asked how we're getting internet when we're broadcasting from Breonna Taylor Square, and the answer is hotspots. Those DJs have hotspots on their phones and are able to generate the internet signal when they go down there. Any other questions?
Yeah, could you spell that? I've never heard of it.
The hotspot?
Oh, a hotspot.
Yeah, just on your
Hotspot.
phone,
Okay, I
you
got it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
on their
misunderstood your pronunciation. Okay.
Yeah, just, some people have the capacity on their phones to create a hotspot. You might want to check with your phone provider and see if you have that. On my service, I could add it for $15 a month. So, that's worth it to be able to go out and broadcast anywhere in the world. So now you're up to $25 for this entire system.
Yes, and someone had actually asked that before also. What's the sort of estimate on what it costs?
So
The stream
$10,
stations, $10.
$10 a month to get your alternative stream host. And that's all you need, really. Unless you want to add the hotspot or add a mixer and that kind of stuff. But the basic thing is $10 a month.
Ursula is asking what goes over the air during our transitions.
So again, we use Megaseg, and that picks up the stream and plays the stream. And when the first DJ stops broadcasting and there's a little bit of quiet time because it then has to re-pick up the new stream and buffer and a little bit. Megaseg actually just starts playing your kind of auto mix. So it'll play a little bit of a random song. You'll hear like 10 or 15 seconds of some random song, and then it'll go to the next DJ. Luckily, we have mainly instrumental music in our auto mix so that that transition is not too weird when you hear that little bit of another song.
Thank you, Sharon.
Cool. And Sean
Yeah.
Selby's on the line, I think, our resident engineer who's really struggled with us getting all the DJs online and trained. Sean, do you have any comments you want to add? Let's see if we can get him to talk on the microphone. He's more of a behind the scenes kind of guy. Maybe not, but do keep those websites in mind if you guys got those websites. If not, we can send them out to you again, or you can contact me. But it's a nice little walkthrough of how this all works. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions, but I just would really, especially right now is such a weird time to be playing pre-recorded shows. We tried that a little bit in the beginning, and DJs would replay old shows and then it would be like all of a sudden, here we are in the middle of this pandemic and we're putting out PSAs all the time, like stay home, stay away from crowds. And then we're playing an old show that includes 50 people are in the studio talking and laughing and hamming it up. And the listener doesn't know that that's pre-recorded, and it just was killing me, because I feel like it's so important for us to be a good role model for our listeners, of social distancing, responsible, social practices right now. And I felt like we were being irresponsible by playing those kinds of recordings. And then, some other DJs, a couple other things I heard when people were replaying shows was one DJ played a show, when he was he must have been sick, but of course it was before the pandemic, so it wasn't like as big as a freak out, but he was like coughing on the mic and stuff, and he's talking about his cough and everything, and you're going, oh my God, you know, but, and people are thinking like, God, this guy probably has COVID, and he's sitting there in the studio, like coughing all over everything. So that's, you know, really when it became like, no, we have to be live. We're a live radio station. Our people need us. They want to be connecting with us right now. They want to, they're lonely, they're isolated, you know, they're in their houses and can't go out and have fun. We need to be there for them. We need to be voices for them. We need to be entertaining them, informing them, just providing them with some company and comfort right now. And I think that that's, you know, really important for community radio. So if you guys are not yet live broadcasting, if you're playing pre-records, I understand it's a desperate time for radio right now, but I would really encourage you, you know, to try to take the step and get your station live again, get your DJs remote broadcasting. Your DJs want to be on the air. They have a lot to say right now. There's so much going on, and the people really need to hear from them. So, you know, do your best. I know it's not always easy to try something new, but really I would say that the reason I really wanted to share this with you all is because it's been a remarkably easy and inexpensive process, and we've made it work. So hopefully you can too.
Thank you, Sharon.
Well, thank you.
Coming up next, and also guys, feel free to holler at us on the Discord channels, you know, about, you know, if you have more questions about all this, because we really did go through like a trial and error process. So we kind of learned the hard way pretty much the whole time. So there's a bunch of little things that if you have questions about, let us know. Sharon, thank you.
Hey, Jackson, I just got a message. I think that Derek Wood is going to do an open, you know, there's the Zoom meeting that's open for kind of social time, and around dinner time after the keynote panel, he's going to be doing kind of a little social mixer where his show is called Inside a Question, and he's going to be bringing some questions and some social activities. So after the keynote, if you guys want to go to that social.
One last question. This is
Sure.
Anne.
Hi,
Yeah.
Ann.
Hi. Tia Marie said that she could broadcast, she could go into Breonna Taylor Square with her setup and all she would need was a table. But it sounded like someone else, perhaps it was you, said that they could go in and broadcast from Breonna Taylor Square or wherever without needing a table, with something it seemed to carry and a microphone.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on your setup, but yeah, you can just bring your laptop and maybe your phone for the hotspot and a microphone maybe, and that should be all you need. You know, a table would make it better because you'd maybe be able to spread out, but if you can just sit there and hold it on your lap or whatever, I'm sure that would work too. And I think that's what Emily and Demi do.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they have been broadcasting from Breonna Taylor Square that way. And it's been really interesting, you know, just to hear from the people who are there live. And, you know, it's been very interesting because here in Louisville, they've been trying to shut down the protests and shut down the riots, but they can't shut down Art FM. So it's been kind of awesome. We've been able to stay on the air and be there and just really be a part of this movement, even if we aren't out marching in the streets. You know, we're putting out the inspiration and you know, just the motivation for people to stand up for what they believe in. And again, it's just, I don't know what our DJs would do. I mean, what would you guys, how terrible it would be right now if you couldn't get on the airwaves and talk about everything that's going on. So
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you. Again, I'm here to answer any of your questions, and the Riot for Radio panel is going to be great coming up next. So.
Yes, and then our keynote at 5 o'clock. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sharon.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Enjoy.
Jackson. Thanks, guys.